You, Candace, that was lovely. That was lovely. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. So no matter where you are, where you're coming from, know that you are in our hearts today and that we are intending on having a really, truly amazing time together today, celebrating life. So I just wanted to also say to all of you that we have someone each week who is our host. This week it's Virgie Cooper, who is also our announcer. So if you would like to connect with us, also, so Michelle is here, and you would like information on our newsletter, put something in the chat box if you're on Zoom, or put an inquiry if you're on Facebook, put an inquiry there, and there will be somebody that will get back to you and get you the information that you need. Our newsletters come out every week, and they have all of the activities that we're offering and an opportunity to really get connected deeply with community, because it's together that we fly faster and farther, just like the geese. So, my friends, I would like to start off with a very high invocation. It's a very high invocation or high affirmation of who we are and why we're here. So I invite you just to repeat after me. I'm going to do it in nice little short chunks so that you can follow. And my daughter Michelle is going to be repeating it after me so that you can hear the kind of call and response rhythm. So are you ready? I am that I am.
I am that I am.
My beloved God presence that I am.
My beloved God presence that I am.
Is moving through me and as me.
Is moving through me and as me.
I invoke the divine presence.
I invoke the divine presence.
To fill every cell in my body.
To fill every cell in my body.
With light.
With light.
To surround me with a pillar of light.
To surround me with a pillar of light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
I allow the pure light and love of the divine.
I allow the pure light and love of the divine.
To flow from me and move me.
Flow from me and move me.
To be of highest service to all life.
To be of highest service to all life.
I joyfully bring love and light.
I joyfully bring love and light.
To all who enter my field of awareness.
To all who enter my field of awareness.
Knowing that my light.
Knowing that my light.
Contributes to the enlightenment of all.
Contributes to the enlightenment of all.
And so with a powerful yes, let's say together, and so it is. Lovely. Okay, so I would like to introduce to you now our beloved, glorious, talented musician. Her name is Deb Chamberlain-Wynn. So let's welcome her.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. No, I haven't moved. I just moved to a different room. So I still have the same fingers. Don't worry. So I've been reading this book called Spontaneous Evolution, Our Positive Future, and a Way to Get There from Here. And the bad news is I'm only about 50% of the way through, so I don't know how to get there from here yet. But fortunately, our guest speaker today does. So I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of that message, and then I'll finish the book. And meanwhile, the book inspired me to write this song a couple weeks ago called Common Ground. This world is dying. Our babies are crying. A house divided, deaf and short-sighted. And we're all here wanting the same things. A little peace, love, and understanding. We're all walking on this common ground. Even if we can't see that now. What if we take what we got, cook it in the same pot? That's where hope is found, when we're walking and we're talking on common ground. We're all brothers and sisters, we're all misses and misters, all saints and sinners, all losers and winners, and we're all here wanting the same things, a land where all of our freedom rings. We're walking on this common ground, even though we don't see that now. Let's take what we've got, cook it all in one pot. That's where the good is found, when we're walking and we're talking on our common ground. If we turn and face each other, maybe we'll find a place in the middle where we each give a little and blur the lines, and we will see that we're always walking on this common ground. Maybe we will all see that now. Let's take what we've got, cook it all in one pot. That's where the love is found, when we're walking and we're talking. We gotta keep on walking the talk, walking and talking on our common ground. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll all enjoy this service today with so many wonderful people here. Looking forward to Swami Bhayananda's end of that story. And now I would love to bring on Candace.
Thank you so much, Deb. Fabulous song, unbelievable creativity. Thank you for sharing your talents with us so generously. And good morning to everybody here, family, friends, members at the Centers for Spiritual Living, Delaware. So grateful to be with you today. I am Candace Berkowitz, and I am a practitioner here at the center. And what a beautiful day we have. Now we're going to enter into the quiet again. I don't know if you were here for meditation, but we'll go into the silence as we connect with the divine presence within each one of us. So closing your eyes, if you feel comfortable doing that, taking a deep breath in together in the collective as we gain that conscious awareness of the unity in which we live, move, and have our being. Sharing in this conscious evolution, which is truly going home to the divine presence, knowing that we are one, that there is only one, and that one is God. The intelligence, the wisdom, the creativity, the love energy from which all life emanates and exists is supported and sustained at all times and in all ways. And knowing that here and now, in this beloved community of which we are all individualized expressions, we are a microcosm of this macrocosm. We are each a divine emanation of the Most High. We are each sparks of light, of this love, of this intelligence, of this wisdom, making up this magnificent tapestry of divine grace, which is ever expressing itself in more and more ways. Celebrating the diversity, celebrating the creativity, celebrating each other and showing up together in beloved community here today and each Sunday and so many other ways as we share the light, be the light, express the light, and see the light within each other inviting greater and greater expressions, which is the nature of our being. This is life, to express itself. And so at the Centers for Spiritual Living in Delaware, that is our invitation to see the light in each other. So I'm so grateful for being together here today and for inviting and celebrating Steve Bhaerman, who is going to give our message today, our special guest, and then afterwards a workshop as Swami Beyond Nanda. And then Nanda is bliss. So we are invited to go beyond bliss today as we enjoy the Sunday service and as we share in the workshop afterwards. So just acknowledging all the members of this beautiful community who support and bring forth each Sunday service with such magnificence and with such grace. And today, Virgie Cooper and Deb Chamberlain, our beautiful musician, Jenny Stewart, Michelle Johnson and Dan Johnson as our media people, and Reverend Dr. Kathleen as our divine spiritual leader here at the center. And then each one of us who participates by showing up and being that presence for each other. So celebrating this day together, let's share a vibrant yes, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And now I have the honor, the distinct honor to pass this on to our beloved Virgie Cooper for announcements and more as our host today.
Thank you, Candace, and good morning, family.
Good morning.
As you already, some of you might not know, but I am Virgie Cooper. I am going to be your host today. If you are joining us for the first time on Zoom, please put your name in the chat. I'll let it be known in the chat so that I can personally welcome you and make sure that you get signed up for our fabulous newsletter. For those of you who may be joining us on Facebook, another member of our community, Sharon Bousquet, will be reaching out to you to welcome you and to also make sure that you get connected to our newsletter in our community. And now for our intention statement. Read along with me as I read out loud. We, the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, are a welcoming, vibrant, inclusive spiritual community rooted in New Thought, ancient wisdom principles. We are here to be the presence of love and to co-create heaven on earth, a world that works for all. And now for our announcements. Marianne Ruan, her last Chanting for Love session, she's actually offered 3 this month, but her last one is going to be on Saturday, the 27th at 9 a.m. The session is free. You don't need any experience. And as always, everyone is welcome. Hiking is back. Starting March the 7th, Brett Taylor will lead a hiking trip the first Sunday of every month. The hikes will start at about 2 o'clock. A little birdie tells me that I think the first one's going to be at Brandywine Creek Park, but I'll have more details to share with you soon. Author, humorist, and practical philosopher Steve Bhaerman, also known as Swami Bayandananda, will be our guest speaker today. I'm so glad to learn that little tip that the Andananda part means bliss, so we'll be beyond bliss. Can't wait for that. He's going to be our guest speaker today, and we anticipate an inspiring presentation based on the book called Spontaneous Evolution, Our Positive Future and a Way to Get There. This is a book that was co-authored with Steve with cellular biologist Bruce Lipton. Then the fun continues with Swami Bayandananda today after service with his play shop called Defying Gravity. It's from 1 to 2:30. It'll be held on Zoom. Tickets are $25 and can still be purchased on our website. But we always want everyone to know that no one will be turned away. If you have the time, we want you there, and any donations are always welcome. For more detail and Zoom links on our activities, you can visit our website and go to the Get Involved tab, or you can check out our newsletter, which we send to you via email. And now I'd like to turn things back over to our songstress, Deb.
Thank you, Virgie.
You're welcome.
Your voice is so soothing. I love it. Okay, so we're going to sing this song together that's perfect for our topic today. This is our kind of our anthem here at CSL. We're all in this together. So join me at home. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Yeah, we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. With one heart, life was begun, flowing love to everyone. There is no place outside this love. Life is one for all and all for one. We're all in this together. Yeah, we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. Oh, we're all in this together. In the heart of generosity, we can fill every need. When I give to you, I give to me. For what we give, we shall receive. We're all in this together. Together we stand. We're all in this together. Together we rise. We're all in this together. We see with one heart. We're all in this together. With love in our eyes. Every beat of the heart of man returns us to our source again. So together we grow and together we stand and co-create our sacred plan. 'Cause we're all in this together. Together in truth, we're all in this together. Together in trust, we're all in this together. With one heart, we're all in this together. Together in love, we're all in this together. Together we stand, we're all in this together. Together we rise, we're all in this together. We see with one heart, we're all in this together. With love in our eyes, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Yeah, yeah. We're all in this together. With love in our eyes. I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I would love to bring on Kristen. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you, Deb. That was beautiful as always. The theme for February 2021 is One Journey, Many Paths. Topic for today is Spontaneous Evolution, a Universal Love Story. Our guest speaker today, Swami Bhayananda, offers these words of wisdom in Spontaneous Evolution, a Positive Future. When you find yourself on a vicious cycle, for goodness sakes, stop pedaling. How can you apply this to your life? Wisdom by Bruce Lipton from the same book, The Separation Between Us and Them, or between us and nature, that we so vividly experience in our reality, is an illusion held in place by our beliefs. Reflect on the words of Ernest Holmes in Creative Ideas. We are to view ourselves each in the other and behold God in all. And finally, Reverend Jim Lockhart, a CSL minister, offers this. I see the beloved community as people on a spiritual pathway who seek a closer relationship with God, who will take their spiritual awareness into the world to be examples of love and compassion in action. Reflect on this affirmation of truth as you say it with me. I am in the circle of love, which includes and binds all together in everlasting unity. And I am passing this over to the very wise Steve Bhaerman, Swami Bhayananda. I don't know if I got that right or not, Swami.
Well, no, it's an Italian name. It's Bhayandananda.
Bhayananda.
Bhayandananda. Well, thank you so much for welcoming me into your beloved community. It's really wonderful to be here. And guess what? We have no choice because no matter where we are, we're always here, always now. So it's great to be with you today. You know, I do a lot of presentations on Sunday mornings for churches, and people have asked me if I'm an ordained minister. Well, it turns out I was a minister in a past life, so I'm preordained. This particular spiritual community, this beloved community of yours, is my kind of religious community, strictly non-dominational. And I want to thank you, Deb, for both of those beautiful songs. One, that we are all in this together, and that really is part of the great theme of what I'm going to be talking about today. And then also the idea of this universal oneness. The universe has us surrounded, might as well surrender, right? And what do we surrender to? We surrender to the power of love, because as we're coming to understand, more and more people are coming to realize love is more powerful than fear. Otherwise, we'd be singing, all you need is fear. And we're not singing that, and that is a very good thing. So first of all, a little bit of background on me, and a little bit of background on my work with Bruce Lipton. Originally, my training is in political science, believe it or not. Now, I have to confess that I never got quite so far in that field to actually dissect a politician, but I came close. And so various things have happened in my life. I've been a college professor, and I've been a comedian for the last 35 years. And in the process of doing my comedy as Swami Bhayandananda, and yes, I am a multiple personality, and perhaps the Swami will be channeled a little bit during this presentation and later. I met Bruce Lipton in 2005. He had just written a breakthrough book called Biology of Belief. And this book was about how our beliefs and perceptions influence the outpicturing of our lives, of our health and well-being, and so on. And Bruce and I got into a conversation about what about our collective beliefs? What about the things that we believe as a civilization, or even as a species? How have these beliefs impacted what we have created in the world up until now? And how can these beliefs be transformed so that we actually evolve? And we create what our friend Charles Eisenstein calls the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. Well, right now we are in what has been termed by biologists as the sixth great extinction. And the other 5 extinctions apparently occurred when some object from outer space, like an asteroid or meteorite, hit the Earth, and that created that impact. This particular extinction that we are experiencing right now is not because of an object from outer space. It's because of our object from inner space. The beliefs, collective beliefs and perceptions that have brought us to where we are today. So we're going to be presenting a bigger piece of what life on Earth is about evolution and our part in it. Bruce Lipton says that crisis precipitates evolution. And if we look at the current confluence of crises, we can recognize that the chances of precipitation are about 100%. Now, interestingly, the origins of the word crisis, it was a surgical term that originally meant the life or death tipping point. At a crisis point, and after surgery, this goes back hundreds of years, crisis was the moment that would decide whether a person were to live or die. Well, right now, we are at that crisis point in human life on this planet and our species. This is kind of a existential crisis as we're looking to figure out, do we want to exist anymore? Now, there are people, there are scientists and all kinds of people who've given up, who've saying, you know what, it's too late. What is required is a miracle if we are to transform the condition that we're in right now. Well, we need a miracle. It turns out that there is an actual template for miracles. This template for miracles is called spontaneous remission. Now, you've probably heard stories, and perhaps maybe you've even had this happen to you or somebody close to you. Somebody basically has a life-threatening illness, and they're told by the medical authorities, there's nothing more that medicine can do. You may as well just go home, get your affairs in order, and prepare yourself. And what happens from time to time in the midst of this crisis, there is a miraculous healing, a spontaneous remission. The disease that was there prior is no longer there. What happens during this time? Well, there is a doctor named Louis Mail Madrona, who is an associate of Andrew Weil, and he wrote a book called Coyote Medicine, based on the study that he did over the course of decades of people who've experienced these spontaneous remissions. And one of the things that he found that all of these people had in common, they experienced what he called a change of story, a change of story. There was something in their lives, something they were telling themselves about life that needed to be changed. Perhaps it was their relationship with spirit. Perhaps it was a relationship with a human being that needed to end or change. Perhaps it was a work situation, something that was untenable. The disease appeared, and in the wake of that disease, there was an awakening, and there was a new story. And based on that new story, there was a spontaneous remission. Well, I'm saying, and Bruce is saying, that there needs to be a change of our collective story. We call it a spontaneous remissioning. When we change our story from it's every person for themselves, it's dominate or be dominated, to we're all in this together, to we're all part of this one fabric. And when we're calling this the great upwising, where we wake up, wise up, grow up, and show up. We wake up to the illusion of separation. We wise up to the power of love and connection. We grow up from children of God to adults of good, and we show up on a new playing field, ready to play a new game, off the battlefield, onto the playing field. Well, what is this new story? What is this new story, this universal love story that Bruce and I talk about in the book? This is a story of life on the planet Earth. Now, have you ever wondered, how is it that life began on Earth? Now, in the native cultures, they talk about Father Sky and Mother Earth. And that's actually quite true, because if you look at the way life began on this planet, it was when the first spark of light interacted with matter, material mother on Mother Earth. And through this process called photosynthesis, the first life was created. Again, spark from Father Sky, impregnating Mother Earth, and we have a new child life. Now, of course, life on this planet began as single-cell organisms, and for billions of years, this life existed simply as these single cells. But as these cells began to multiply, an interesting thing began to happen. There needed to be a new order that had to emerge from this old one. And I guess these single-cell organisms got tired of being single, and at some point, Act 2 of this universal love story, the single-cell organisms began to combine as multiple cells. And as we're going to find out, in every phase of evolution, two things happen. First of all, there is an increased awareness. And second of all, there is an increased connection. Awareness and connection, that's what we had. And so these multi-cell organisms decided they wanted to be in a relationship. And when they combined, an interesting thing happened. They shared the intelligence of the combined cells, and they were operating more efficiently because each of the individual cells could only grow so big. And as a multi-cell organism, life was able to continue and expand. You know, the universe is an expanding universe. I don't know if you knew this. In fact, even this year, they had to let the photon belt out another notch. So the universe is always expanding. Life is always expanding. And so Act 3 of this universal love story, in Act 3 of this universal love story, we created these amazing multi-cell organisms of trillions of cells like you and me. We are actually a community of about 50 trillion cellular citizens, all gathered together for one purpose, to be the you or me or the unique individual that we are. And so this Act 3 of this universal love story, we became creatures that had tremendous amount of awareness. We have consciousness. We are not just able to live and breathe, but we're able to be conscious, live and breathe. And interestingly, as Bruce says, at this crisis moment in human history, this consciousness may be the very thing that transforms and evolves us so that we're able to continue life on this planet in a very expansive way, in a very harmonious way, and in a way that we can actually fulfill our destiny as a humanity. Now, right now, we are at the 4th act in universal love story. And these organisms, like ourselves, like other animals, we have gathered into tribes and communities. We human beings have gathered into tribes and nations and organizations. We have herds of animals. We have schools of fish. We have flocks of birds. We have all of these animals now in organization. As far as our human society goes, right now we're at this point where we have gathered into tribes, right? And unfortunately, until now, these tribes have been in competition with one another. They've been in conflict with one another. And we are at this Act 4 of the universal love story. Now, I don't know how many of you know what Greeks called 4-act plays. They were called tragedies. But the Greeks had a 5-act play, and those 5-act plays were called comedies. So in order to transform the tragedy into a comedy, we have to add another act. And in this new act of awareness, of conscious evolution, we recognize that we human beings are all cells in a larger superorganism called humanity, or as I prefer calling it, humankind, because the currency of humankind is human kindness. Now, again, this is an evolutionary shift that we are primed to make and is necessary for us to make at this point, to recognize that we're all cells in the same body. If we look at how human beings, how we've interacted collectively, we can see that a lot of what our societal interaction between these human cells can be called autoimmune dysfunction. It's interesting that one of the diseases that has come to us over this past 50 years or so that we didn't used to have is autoimmune disease, where healthy cells are mistakenly fighting other healthy cells. And so in this larger and deeper recognition of who we are as cells in the body politic, we recognize that warfare and toxic forms of competition are obsolete, and new word, obsolethal, because they're also deadly to us. Now, it's interesting that the word competition in the original Greek meant to strive together. So when those Greek athletes back in the old days were competing with one another, they weren't trying to defeat one another. They were actually using one another to achieve their own personal best. So what if we had a society where we were competing, where we were striving together to thrive together, to shift from dominate or be dominated, living by the lowest common denominator, which we've lived for over the past 10,000 years, to actually living to thrive together, thrival for each and all. So earlier, it was mentioned that one of the purposes and focuses of this beloved community is to bring forth a world where we are really connected in love. And this may seem like a utopian ideal, but as Bruce will tell us, in terms of our body, what we think of as utopia, our body thinks of as health and well-being, things working in harmony. Now, it's interesting that one of the great visionary philosophers of the 20th century, Bucky Fuller, wrote a book that talks about the exact predicament we find ourselves in. And his book was called Utopia or Oblivion. Utopia or Oblivion, saying that because of human technology and human civilization, our footprint is so big that we actually have to make the choice of whether to go to hell in a handbasket or whether to create heaven on earth. Heaven or hell, what a choice we have. Isn't that an interesting choice? And so if we want to go for heaven on earth, as Swami would say, just for the hell of it, then we have to take the challenge of being spontaneous evolutionaries in our own lives. Once you get struck by enlightening and recognize that, yes, we are all in this together. Yes, we are all cells in the same body. Then we begin to look at our human, new word, situation with a new eye. We begin to look at it as we become, first of all, aware that we have a destiny that is bigger than both the paradigm of patriarchal religion and the paradigm of materialist science where there is no room for spirit. And both of these paradigms have been fighting it out in our civilization. And if you look at this past election, it's really traditionalists wanting to take us, back to feudalism, and unfortunately, a new world order that wants to take us forward toward neo-feudalism. Okay, but there's another choice, and this other choice has to do with spontaneous, conscious evolution, as we recognize, first of all, having the awareness that we human beings are at this point where we can collectively choose to begin to operate together and bring those things into our lives and into our beings that allow us to begin to stay connected. And again, what is being done in this little spiritual community is something that's very, very valuable. There's another metaphor that Bruce and I have used to describe our current predicament, and that is the caterpillar evolving into the butterfly. Now, the caterpillar is a very interesting critter. The caterpillar, in the course of its lifetime, is the ultimate consumer. The caterpillar consumes 26,000 times its body weight in food in the course of its lifetime. So we are looking at, we are leaving this caterpillar society where we've extracted, where we've exploited, where we've used up resources on the planet and we haven't replenished them. And we are in the chrysalis, where we are becoming this butterfly organism that steps very lightly on the world, that soars above things, that is able to see from a higher perspective. Inside the chrysalis, there is chaos, and there certainly is chaos in our world right now as we're changing paradigms and all of the reality checks from the past are bouncing, right? And in the caterpillar organism, the caterpillar cells begin to fall apart, and something very interesting happens. These new cells, called, believe it or not, imaginal cells, the imaginal cells of the new butterfly organism begin to come together and connect and begin to communicate with one another. Now, at the beginning, the caterpillar does not recognize these cells and they die off. But at a certain point, at a turning point, at a critical point, a critical mass of these cells become the new organism. Now, there was a book written 20 years ago about this situation called The Cultural Creatives by Paul Ray and Sherry Anderson. And the cultural creatives were this new demographic, this new awareness that was awakening over the past 25 years or so, where we recognize that we are all in this together, that we recognize that we do need to integrate the best of our spiritual practices given to us through religion and these new understandings in science. Now, interestingly, the word religion comes from religare, which means to bind. And the original purpose of religion was to connect us with one another, to connect us with the natural world, and to connect us with the one spirit. And what we are coming to find right now is that more and more people are developing this ecumenical, transpersonal concept of what this spirit is, and recognizing that there are many paths, many ways to connect with this one spirit, and they really are all going to the same place. So in this evolutionary uprising that we're experiencing, as the imaginal cells are waking up, as the cultural creatives are waking up, we are creating this critical mass. And so every one of these spiritual communities, like your own, your beloved community, your Center for Spiritual Living, is a community of imaginal cells waking up. And so I want to offer a 3-step program. And what's great about 3 steps is it's mathematically proven to work 4 times faster than 12-step. And the 3 steps are evolutionary awareness, evolutionary intention, and evolutionary practice, okay? Evolutionary awareness is simply becoming aware, as many people are reading Spontaneous Evolution, that there is a new meta story, a new story above and beyond what we've learned and what we've done before. And that says we're all in this together. We're all one human family. And as we release the delusion of separation, we see that we are all in this together, and we can rise up and wise up to the power of love. Step number 2 is to have this evolutionary intention. It's living with purpose. One of the great things about being conscious is that we can set a course for ourselves. And just as we can set a course for ourselves in our own personal lives, we can set a course as a collective in purpose. And I call this tell-a-vision. So if you don't like our current programming, turn off your TV and television. And so let me begin with the vision. You can share your vision. And I'll begin with my vision. I call it Heartland Security. You know, back, it's hard to believe it's been almost 20 years since 9/11, since that crisis that unfortunately precipitated more fear. And based on that fear, we created the Homeland Security. But I say Heartland Security because our true security is in the land of the heart. And once we begin to leave the dueling dualities of the head for the unity of the heart, we can experience an entirely different world. And so having that focused intention to move to this heartland security where because we're coming from this space of loving awareness, we can then reconnect ourselves with the web of life. We can begin to heal the land through regenerative agriculture, and we can create security by creating community where we are recognized that we are part of this beloved community, one with everyone else. So with this evolutionary awareness and focused purpose, which your community already has, the next step is an evolutionary practice, something that you do on a daily basis that puts you in touch with the web of love, the web of life, the universal oneness, and then allows you to live your life in purpose so that you weave your own personal purpose with this evolution that wants to happen. And so in some way you're serving the scene, you're bringing more heart to the world, you're helping to heal the land and creating an ecological economy. You're doing things to bring people together so that we make our collective decisions in a wiser way. And we get off the battlefield of dueling dualities and we get onto the playing field of we are here together to work in cooperation. And so people ask me all the time, are we going to make it? Now, as the Swami will tell you, he doesn't make predictions because he doesn't want to jeopardize his nonprofit status, okay? But I will say that the best thing that I've ever heard in regards to predictions, it was something that was a bit of wisdom offered by the great philosopher and center fielder, Willie Mays. And back in the day, I remember he was being interviewed by the sportscaster Howard Cosell. And to give you an idea of Willie Mays' brilliant wisdom, I'm going to channel this for you right now. And it went like this. We're talking with Willie Mays. Willie, let me ask you this. Are the Giants going to win the pennant this year, Willie Mays? And Willie Mays said, I don't know, Howard. That's what we're going to play the season to find out. So we are at this point in human history. We are at this moment in this universal love story where because we are conscious, because we are aware, because we're aware of both the illusion of separation that's kept us divided in the past and the unity of love that's bringing us together, we can make that conscious evolutionary choice that allows us to wake up to our true potential and begin to live that love in every moment of our life on this planet. And it's not clear whether we're going to make it, but this is the new game on the new field, and that is the reason why we are here together. So before I end this, I want to let you know that I am going to be in my Steve Geisen, with the Swami's help, offering a play shop called Defying Gravity, How Levity Uplifts Us in Unfunny Times. And this is a phenomenal tool for us to uplift ourselves, to uplift the world, and to create more playfulness in our lives, to cultivate that connection between people so that we do create the critical mass that will allow us to evolve and become the human beings that we have always imagined that we can be. So I want to thank you for inviting me today. I hope to see you later. And as the Swami would say, namaste and namaste go.
That was awesome. I'll be in your workshop. I can't wait. I'm totally committed to having this be a 5-act play. So I'd love to sing you this song I wrote about a year ago called Live. As we give birth to our new earth, first we see her with our mind. She is bountiful, she is wondrous, all forgiving and kind. And as we listen to her silence, we know exactly how to give. So the best and the highest of everyone shall live. Live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sound of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. So we give thanks for this new earth. From the ashes she rose. As we breathe with her, we receive with her all the blessings of the skies. And with our loving hands and grateful hearts, we replenish every need. And with equal care and tenderness, we nurture every seed, so it can live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sounds of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. We hold the power in our hearts to make heaven on earth right here where we are. So let us live to see the day we all can thrive. Live to feel what it means to be fully alive. Live to hear the sounds of peace in a world that was born to be free. A world that was born from you and me. Let's make heaven on earth our greatest legacy. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think I'm bringing back Virgie, right?
Yes, ma'am, you are. That was gorgeous. All capital letters.
Thank you.
All right, family, let's see here. Each week at this time, the Social Justice Initiative Ministry shares a practice from the Association of Global New Thought for cultivating a nonviolent mindset. Together, we are learning to practice nonviolence one step at a time, one choice at a time, and one day at a time. Through our daily nonviolent choices and actions, each of us in our own way is moving the world in the direction of peace. Caring and compassion are our practices for this week. So starting with our practice for caring, it comes from Peter McWilliams. Peter McWilliams says nonviolence toward the self, that's right, nonviolence toward the self is caring for oneself. It is what the Greeks call reverence for the self. Real caring is not just what we say, but what we do. Make a list of at least 5 ways you can take care of yourself this week, and then practice at least one each day. So that's our first assignment. And then our next practice is compassion, which comes from Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa implored us to find someone who thinks he is alone and let him know that he is not. So each day this week, we want to do as Mother Teresa suggests. So we can reach out to plenty of people who are feeling alone today, people within our community, people within our family, people within our personal and spiritual communities. So it should be an assignment that's easy for us to accomplish and feel so good in the process. All right, and now for our offertory blessing. If you receive inspiration today, then now is the time to give thanks and generously give to the good work of CSL Delaware. I want you to imagine your intended offering in your hands and then place it over your heart and say with me our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies this offering. The Spirit gives abundantly. I receive thankfully and give again generously. This is the bounty of God, and I send it forth with wisdom and joy. Divine love bountifully supplies and increases this offering. I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving. To send your offerings by PayPal or check, you can see our website, homepage, or the newsletter, and we give thanks for all that you do for our community to support us financially. You want to make a difference? Contribute to the CSL Delaware Benevolence Fund to support members of our community who are financially challenged during this time of COVID-19. You simply need to mark your donation benevolent fund. On the flip side of that, if you feel like you need financial support, please reach out to us as well. You can contact any one of the Board of Trustees. Our information is on the website and in our newsletter. Service will be ending soon, but we want to encourage everybody to grab something to eat and to come back on the same Zoom link by 12:45 for our play shop with Swami Bhayandananda. I like saying, I'm gonna say it again, Swami Bhayandananda. It starts promptly at 1 o'clock. You can still purchase tickets, but once again, no one will be turned away. And with that, I'd like to turn things over to my buddy, Jenny.
Good morning, fellow radiant imaginal selves in our beloved community of CSL Delaware. My name is Jenny Stewart, and I'm filling in for our friend Dwayne Preston today. And today we honor and celebrate another loving, beautiful imaginal cell in our community, Reverend Linda Patton, as our volunteer of the month for the month of February. And Reverend Linda has been with us so many years, doing so much for us all the time. She is the congregant care lead with the assistance of the practitioners. She provides transportation, hospital visits, prayers for members in need, and other services. She's the practitioner co-lead, providing support, leading meetings, and scheduling service duties for the practitioners. She serves as the bookstore lead, ordering books, tracking sales, and doing inventory. and she is an assistant for various CSL Delaware classes, currently assisting with the practitioner training. But these are some of the many things that Reverend Linda does in our community, but please help celebrate her by a text or email, or give her a call and let her know how much you love her, and for not what she does, but who she is, which is such a loving, bright light. Every time I see Reverend Linda, those sparkly eyes, and she's always right there with you, genuinely interested in how you're doing, so supportive, always encouraging everybody who's around her. And she's just one of our most beautiful imaginal light-filled cells that we have in our community. And I'm just so grateful. So please join me in celebrating and thanking Reverend Linda. This morning, if you would like prayer after service today with Candace, please write prayer in the chat so that you can meet with another beloved imaginal cell named Candace. So, also send your prayer request by phone or email to Peggy Frymoyer, and the practitioners will pray for you for 1 week as well, if that's something you would like to do. And now sending it back to a beautiful, gorgeous butterfly, our lovely songbird, Deb.
Thank you, Jenny. Yay. All right, we're going to end with this really fun song, which is perfect for today's mood. You all know it. I hope I see some dancing and hooping and hollering over there. And congratulations, Linda. You always have the best virtual backgrounds, by the way. And so we're going to, during this time of spontaneous evolution, we got to stay strong and we got to keep our faith alive with daily practice. So let's do that right now. May the grace of God bless man and every woman in this land. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, the darkness won't defeat us. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end is come, said our souls are running, but I say stay strong and keep your faith alive. Let's all come together and take care of each other. Keep strong and keep your faith alive. Everybody now, raise your hand up in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a step, say a prayer, say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Hand in hand, side by side, hearts open wide. Stay strong, keep your faith alive. Take up others, find their way, create a heaven here today. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Here we go, let's dance and sing. Raise your hand up in the air. Stay strong, keep your faith alive. Take a step and say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. It's times like this we need to remember what is real, and we stay strong and keep our faith alive. United in our quest to spread love and happiness, we will stay strong. This one's for you, Swami. Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram. Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram. That was just rehearsal. Let's do that again. Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram. Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Hey Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram. Everybody raise your hands up in the air. Stay strong, keep your faith alive, and lend a hand. Say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. We gotta stay strong and keep our faith alive. Yeah. Got to get that corn in, right? Got to get warmed up for Swami. All right. Love you all so much. I'll be back next week, and I'll see you in the workshop. And I'd love to bring back our beloved Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you, Deb. That was wonderful. And thank you, Steve Bhaerman, for that fabulous talk that I think is just so right on point in terms of why we are here together as community. So thank you so much for sharing your inspiration with us today. And I just want to remind everybody again that you can, if you want to just give a love donation or whatever you want to do, nobody's turned away this afternoon. It's 1:00 today to continue to, and it's very interactive is what Steve tells me. He's going to be giving you a free PDF of the details of what the seminar is all about. And if you simply just go to our donation button, we'll know that anything comes in related to that, the $25, you can just send it there, just make it easy on our website. And we're looking forward to seeing you today. So let's just end in prayer, my friends. And just repeat after me. Perfect God within me.
Perfect God within me.
Perfect life within me, which is God.
Perfect life within me, which is God.
Come forth into expression through me.
Come forth into expression through me.
As that which I am.
As that which I am.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love.
And cause me to see.
Cause me to see.
And to do.
And to do.
The infinite good.
The infinite good.
And so with a full embrace of who we are individually and collectively, let's affirm this great good that we are with a vibrant yes. And so it is. Amen. Okay, my friends, thank you. And Michelle, I think, is probably going to be putting us all on, there we go, on gallery so we can all see each other and wave.
And you can unmute yourselves.
You can unmute yourselves.
Come over here.
Yeah, and Michelle's going to switch me over there. Yeah, there we
All
go.
right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yourselves.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody.
Hello, everybody.